Over here, another area. This is kind of thick. I got a lot of different things I'm gonna cut back soon, just like the Mexican sunflower. But this is sweet almond. Smells really good right now because it's blooming there at the top. Let's see if I can get a shot of that. Yeah, right there. That's loquat from seed. We had our first harvest this year. They are very good. They typically do real well from seed. You know, you can get the grafted varieties. Makes good pies. We had pie from them, cobbler. And so that's kind of a plus. Another pineapple there. This is like some type of, I think it's a key lime. Friend got it for me from a seed from Puerto Rico. Like I said in the past, I call it the Jose. It's not seeming to be real resilient against citrus greening or whatever pest is around here, because it just hasn't fruited for me ever since my friend gave it to me. It did have limes on it then. He had it in a pot, was kind of babying it. So maybe I just got to do something to try to baby it a little bit if I want some limes off of it. But they're little teeny limes. He thought it was a lemon, but it's a lime. Just have different things in here, like I think it's called the Angel's Trumpet right there. It's been dry, so it doesn't look too great, but I trimmed that back and it comes right back. This is poinsettia right here. So just some odds and ends in there. This is Peruvian apple cactus. It actually, that's new growth there on top. For the while, it was just that bottom section, but it produces new node right there, and it's looking pretty good. These are papaya from seed. This right here is my native red mulberry. When I was driving down the road, the tree was fruiting. The berries were really good on it, so took some cuttings. It was a public easement, so I was able to start those cuttings, or just one of them, and that's the tree you see right here. The berries on this are excellent, and so years past it didn't have a lot of berries on it. This year, because the tree's bigger and healthier, it actually had quite a lot of mulberries, and I was able to harvest a lot of them. This right here is another plant from Echo, the Echo white mulberry, but I bought this at Hart, and it kind of grows straight up, where this native red mulberry flops over, this one grows straight up. So this is my Barbados cherry. It's not a dwarf. It's got little flowers on it. I've been neglecting it, haven't been giving it much water. It hasn't produced for me. I saw a couple cherries on it, but I think they've already fallen off. So hopefully we get some rain soon and this thing will produce for us. Here's my coconut. They're not supposed to grow up here in the Hillsborough County area, but it's doing good. It started in my yard from a coconut. I have it in a protected zone, and it's got a canopy above it. This is the north side here, so it's probably going to be reflecting some of that sun in the winter. This is my Malabar chestnut. This is pretty much an office desk plant. Doesn't like the winter, that freeze that we had at Christmas. It had some burnt leaves at the top, but it recovers real well. So I'm sure in a couple of years I'll have some chestnuts, or the Malabar chestnuts. My jackfruit, again, this is something that does not like the winter. I did cover it up, but I had to tie it up because it kind of flopped over, but it's recovering really well. So I guess the key thing is with the jackfruit is you need to get them big and healthy to be more resilient. When they're smaller, they don't fare as well through the winter. So I just got to get this much larger, and hopefully I can be able to enjoy some jackfruit up this way. Over here is one of my lychees that I grew from seed. It's doing good. It has a lot of shade from this mulberry. Over here is a Pakistan mulberry. That's what it was labeled, like it's supposed to have the big long mulberries, but it doesn't. It has an inferior mulberry compared to the native red mulberry. So, I mean, ultimately, I don't know if it was mislabeled or what, but it's okay. I mean, but it's not as good as the native red mulberry. And then, let me see here. This lychee tree right here was really exposed to the sun when I originally planted it. And I thought it was gone. I thought it was dead. but I think this mulberry has given it more canopy, maybe a little bit more protection from the sun. And just out of nowhere, I saw that it was still alive, it was pushing out leaves, and it's doing pretty good. So this area is kind of cool because I have a lot of different younger trees. Lemon drop mangosteen, kumquat from seed. It's grown pretty good, it's shot up and done a little bit of growth. Another lemon drop mangosteen right here. Got more weeds in here than normal. This is a Pitanga tuba, which is, it's really kind of bushed out, so it's looking good. It was just a little stick when I bought it from Flying Fox Farm online, but it's looking good. It's supposed to be something like a Suriname cherry, but better, or it kind of has that same look, but it's orange. So this right here is the red Jaboticaba. If you're going to buy a Jaboticaba, I recommend getting this one first because it fruits in about 3 years, where your standard Jaboticabas can take 10, 15 years. So if you want to get the fruit quicker, get the red Jaboticaba. And I hear it's actually better, so recommend getting this one. I do have the Sabara just around the corner. That's the first one I bought. It's big and healthy, but it's probably 5-6 years old. It still hasn't fruited for me. Another kumquat from seed right here. This is my biggest lemon drop mangosteen. So when I got the lemon drop mangosteen, it was actually like 4 or 5 of them all bundled up. Several of them had germinated all together. And so this one is actually the most successful of that bunch. It's getting there. This is the rainforest plum. Here's some ginger. I put some ginger bulbs in the ground to see if I can just, include that into my food forest and grow my own ginger. I'm not sure what it is, but it looks like we got some unhealthiness going on here. So we'll see what happens to see if this actually will produce some ginger for me, or if I just need to have my wife get it from the store. Another kumquat from seed. And this is funny because I planted some turmeric, and one thing is when you have a little teeny turmeric sapling, you probably want to keep it in a greenhouse and let it get nice and big and full before you plant it, because it was much smaller than this, and just something was eating away at it, and it was pretty much down to nothing. And I just kind of thought it was dead, and I just noticed this yesterday, and I was like, wow, it's rebounded. So this is turmeric. It's kind of got these seed pods that are, it's got some, it's kind of hard to describe, but it's good to eat. So really sweet. So happy to see that recovered. This right here is my best looking sugar apple. So I had that one that didn't have any leaves on it. I have another one that died. And then this right here is just doing really well. That's a really nice color on it. This is a pomelo from seed. And then here is a native persimmon. So my brother was able to find a persimmon and get some seeds that he planted. And this is cool because once this gets big, it may have horrible fruit on it, but I can take cuttings, get them started, and then I could graft the Fuyu or the Hitachi onto those varieties and have those select varieties with good rootstock. So here is my dragon fruit. I actually moved these two out of the greenhouse yesterday. I've just been growing them on this big dead southern live oak here. This one, when I was doing the work to get this in place, I accidentally cut it with my machete. So I've stuck it, built up the ground around it, got a lot of mulch around it, so hopefully it'll start rooting again. But it's actually rooted into the trunk here. So I just got to keep the trunk watered, and it should be okay. But there's a lot of growth on it. All the big stuff you see right here and here is from this dragon fruit. These are probably, so this one's probably going to be the white, and the other ones could be the yellow and the purple. So we'll just wait and see. And I kind of just walked right past this. This is my wild lemon here. I think there's 3 in there, and then one of the wild lemon I grafted Meyer lemon onto, and I'll show you that here in a second. But as you can see, there's a ton of fruit on these. These wild lemons really kick out a lot of fruit, and actually it's kind of weighing down right here. So this is my Jatropha curcus. I always give this warning, don't eat this if you find it. This variety happens to be edible, but just don't. I mean, a lot of times they suggest not even to buy it because you got to know that it comes from a trusted source. So this right here, actually, these are the seed pods. Down here I got some more longevity spinach in there. Mexican sunflower. I gotta cut this back because it is crowding my Sabara jaboticaba. And you can see how nice and big the jaboticaba is. So hopefully we'll get to where it's fruiting at some point. Let me show you my Meyer lemon. I wanted to show you that one. Those are Cavendish bananas there. So this Meyer lemon, as you can see, so where these wild lemons aren't being touched at all by citrus greening. Maybe they are, but just know how to handle it. I don't know. But this Meyer lemon here looks like it has been. And there's not really much growth. It did fruit last year, but those fruit failed. I don't know, maybe I used to spray it with neem oil, and I just probably need to get back on a regimen, just do a little something to it, and maybe get some fruit off of it. Actually, I'm gonna show you some over here real quick on this. This is my Thai jujube right here. I showed you last year where it kicked off growth from the rootstock, and that growth actually it tasted better than the Thai jujube. It was this little jujube. The Thai was, you know, bigger, but just didn't have as much taste as the little one. The little one tasted like a Granny Smith soaked in root beer. So I actually got some seeds from that, and I have those planted. So I'll have some of that rootstock jujube, which I prefer, tastes better. So canna lilies, my wife had those planted in a pot up in the back porch, and for some reason it doesn't like pots. I suggested, hey, why don't we, because this one was starting to fail, I said, hey, why don't we just put it out, you know, in the garden. It recovered and just flowered. So canna lilies are supposed to be a good biomass producer, you know, good ground cover. I've seen where, I think it's John from What's Ripening, I may have got his name wrong, but he uses canna lilies. So that's where I kind of coerced my wife to put this out here into the food forest, and we'll be able to get those to expand, and you know, she'll have some that she can dig up if she wants to put in a pot. And then this right here is the guava from my neighbor, from their mature tree that it dropped seeds, and those started growing underneath their mature tree. And that tree is actually several decades old. So, and it seems to be doing well. I did have to put a tomato cage to hold it up because it wanted to lean a little bit, but yeah, back over to this area here. This is a cassia. I forget what variety it is, but it produces a yellow flower, and it seems to want to go down, especially after the hurricane. So I just have to stake it up. I have Cavendish bananas surrounding it. This is a everbearing mulberry. If you're going to get a mulberry, I'd steer clear of this one. I mean, I enjoy the mulberries. I'm a collector, so I'm not going to get rid of it, but it doesn't have, the mulberries aren't the best. And I mean, it's supposed to produce year round. It did a real good production of mulberries after the spring, or in the spring. But I saw some newly developed mulberries on it. Actually, yeah, here they are, but there's not many of them on here. So it'll be ever bearing, but it's just going to produce them here and there. So there they are right there. Show you what they're, I mean, they're obviously young. You don't, wait till they turn purple. Here's a Fuyu persimmon, and as you can see, it's just kind of hanging in there. So this is Nepali cactus. My wife tried to make something from it last year, but had a lot of little spines in it. It's supposed to be like spineless or whatever, but I guess they're microscopic, and her hands are just tore up. So this is now considered zombie apocalypse food. I did see something, I don't know if it's on Facebook or what, but you can use this, like the stuff in there that holds the moisture. You can actually, like, if you plant a tree, you can throw those pads down in there because of their ability to hold moisture. It's supposed to be good for a newly planted tree. Here's that tangerine from seed that I was talking about earlier, and it does get more sun back here, but yeah, it just didn't do as good as the one in the front. And then this is my lemongrass here. We still got to figure out what to do with it, but it does smell really good. This is my macadamia nut. As you can see, it's grown really well. I got a lot of Mexican sunflower there on the other side. I got to kind of clean that out. Be a lot of green manure that I can apply. Another Cavendish. Here's my Jamaican cherry. It fared real well through that freeze that we had at Christmas and those cold snaps that we had. But it had passed freeze damage, and so all the growth on it was young growth. There wasn't really strong branches. So when May rolled around, it produced a ton of Jamaican cherries on it, and that attracted all the critters like raccoons and possums. They love coming and eating the cherries. Well, because the growth was real young, they broke all the branches. I ended up just having to trim the tree back. And so all you can see is this little teeny growth on here, so the raccoons aren't going to mess with these little branches. So yeah, it just looks scraggly. I mean, I'm still able to, you know, grow cherries on it. I got this one here. So, you know, it's just kind of a backyard snack. I did a video on making a pie out of these, and it turned it out. It was horrible. It's just meant to be like a kind of a backyard nibble. So over here, this is I got these bananas from the neighbor. I really think they are ice cream or blue javas because of the way the fruit looks. The stems on the bananas have a narrow stem, then it kind of a rounded kind of connector node, which is what a blue java banana stem looks like. And then this right here, recently bought from Echo. I'm always buying new banana varieties, but this is a Goldfinger. I wish I'd have looked it up first. I'm glad to have it because I like to have as many as I can. But apparently it's supposed to be like a store banana, but with this taste that's not supposed to be that great. It's supposed to be inferior to a store banana. But kind of cool to have another variety. So we'll grow it out and give it a shot. And this is my Dwarf Orinoco. So we haven't had any bananas from it, but it's looking pretty healthy. Hopefully I'll have some this year. And then we got some new pups. But I just got to kind of making this into a banana circle. I guess the true banana circle is it's dug down. There's a pit where you put the mulch into. But so yeah, just throwing yard waste here, and then I got room for maybe another variety here. So I did recently clear this area out. I had planted some avocado seeds in here in the past. I'm not sure that one's going to make it. Might be a Mexican variety. But this one over here, its roots were damaged a little bit yesterday when I was clearing this out. But this looks like some type of Florida variety, maybe. I don't know. But that one should grow just fine. So we'll swing over here to the other side of the yard. And as you can see, ran the water line over here. This is just another citrus from seed. I don't know. I wish I'd have labeled them, but so I don't know what to expect there. But, you know, grew it, so I'm going to put it in the ground. Maybe I'll use the rootstock one day. We'll see. This is the other white Jaboticaba. This is my long end right here. It's doing pretty good. I mean, I bought this as a little seedling, and yeah, I think it's going to do just fine. This is my passion fruit vine. We haven't had much rain, so it's just not looking healthy right now. There's some fruit in there. The ones up front have done better, but so this one, I think passion fruit vines are only good for so many years. This one, as you can see, is a very mature passion fruit, so I don't know if it's on its way out. You can kind of see some cracks in the vine right there. I did have to trim it back recently because there was some damage from the hurricane to this fence over here. So I had to redo the fence, so I cut this back heavily. I don't know if it didn't like me cutting some of the major vines. Not sure, but it just might be, you know, on its way out, and maybe time to replace it with another vine. This is a neem tree right here. Bought this as a little tree. It was probably maybe 12 inches. And so it's moving along there. And then I got lots of Mexican sunflowers in this area. This is probably one of the last hurricane holdouts that I gotta fix, where the tree fell on this fencing here for the chickens. So just kind of an area I need to get in there, but it's all just overgrown with Mexican sunflower right now. And then nectarines kind of shaded out by the Mexican sunflower. I didn't have time this year. This nectarine and the peach tree right here both had fruit. The peach tree had a ton of fruit, but I just didn't have time to protect them from the squirrels. Really, I don't recommend planting any type of stone fruit along a fence line. You probably want to put it out in the open. You want to make squirrels feel vulnerable when they go out to get the fruit. So right here, it's on a fence line. It's near these big oak trees. So I actually had to cut the canopy back from this oak tree because they could jump from the canopy down to the tree. So this right here is a Cavendish that I don't know if it had enough water. I did heavily mulch this. I don't know, maybe you can have too much mulch and it's just the water isn't penetrating down. We have been watering it. I'm probably going to just cut this. I'm going to cut it back, and hopefully a new pup will pop out of there. And so I'm not sure what's going on. Typically Cavendish look great, don't have any problems with them. You saw the other ones that look nice and healthy. Over here is my Carlos muscadine. It's a green muscadine grape, and it grows all over the top of my chicken coop. I set up a trellis on top of the chicken coop. Also is a Southern Home growing in there. I got that growing on the other side. And so the Carlos is more mature, so I have more Carlos grapes in there. But the Southern Home is a purple grape, and I'm hoping for more of those in the future because the purples taste better. Also have these are papayas where I fertilized, where I gave the grapes some compost, and these are volunteer papayas that have popped up. And that's pretty much wraps up. I mean, what I got going on right here is, this is my wife's, she's really her thing, vegetable garden. I help her out with this. But we do a lot of green beans, which too late for that in the summer, too hot. Got some sweet potatoes growing. She's trying to do some watermelon here and some okra in there. There's okra in there. There's longevity spinach right there. There's cassava. We got rid of the cassava that we had. There's just one root that I didn't get up. It ended up just not tasting good. My wife put a lot of work into preparing it, and it was a bitter. It just wasn't good. And so we kind of gave up on cassava. And then over here I have the citrus, 3 of those growing. And the one, I'll show you the variety that just seems to be doing real well. It's a compact, heavy fruiting variety. Let me just pull the tag because I forget what it's called. But just so you know, like if you're looking for a juice orange, this one did the best. The Liburnia, and the rootstock is US 942. We water them, but it's pretty much neglected out here. So if it was given a little love, it'd probably do much better. But the other 2 varieties have not done really well. Anyways, God bless. Thanks for watching.